Listen, kid. There are two things you don't know about the Earth. One is me, and the other is...
A crazed man that lived over 100 years ago created stories about a giant tentacle monster, and I know I said Ghidorah was next, but due to some shipping shenanigans, there's gonna be a slight delay. Welcome to Playcast. Hold off, man, I haven't even started yet. The works of H.P. Lovecraft are nothing short of iconic. My brother was the one who introduced me to the subject, therefore it's very fitting that the very generous provider of this figure is... my rich German sugar daddy. Oh! That joke is gonna make zero sense if you didn't see my previous review of the Hiya Toys Godzilla 1991, so I'll link it below. Anyways, thank you to my very generous donator for this figure, and if it tickles your fancy at any point, you can get your very own with the link in the description over at gundammit.com. Now, before we get our mitts on this thing, some background. Lovecraftian horror has become a guilty pleasure of mine. It often blends with existential and cosmic horror, which in my opinion is one of the best genres out there, making you feel small, lost, insignificant, and questioning everything you've ever known. And wow, I'm mentally ill, aren't I? Anyways, you felt its influence one way or another. While I've had no idea what it was at the time, its influence was felt even in my childhood with the Baraki line of Bionicle. But as a full-grown adult, there's several movies and games out there that are great representations of Lovecraft's work. If anyone's looking for a recommendation for a great Lovecraftian game to check out, I highly recommend The Shore. You can find it on Steam, and it's a great experience to immerse yourself in. And as far as movies go, The Color Out of Space is an underrated gem, especially if you're a fan of The Cage. As well as Underwater, which is pretty much Alien, but it takes place under the sea, briefly featuring our boy here, and is really more enjoyable if you go in expecting some Bionicle Baraki vibes. Trust me on this. I don't know if it counts or not, but Glorious is a great one to check out as well.
Has a favor to ask.
Of course, how could I forget Cthulhu was given a spotlight recently in Doom: The Dark Ages, which I did a review of that nobody watched. It's fine, it only took 2 weeks to make. But what exactly is Cthulhu? Well, it's far older than you and I, an unknowable, unstoppable, tentacled, godlike monster. But for further context, let's see what the back of the box says here. The Great Cthulhu, an important member of the Great Older One in the universe. One of symbolizes the existence of elemental water, and is the most of the Nightmare Corpse. Stararc, whatever that means. I don't even know if any of that was proper English. So it's only fitting that eventually it would cross paths with Godzilla. But from the looks of this box, Godzilla might be fucked. Without further delay, let's get this thing out of the box. Straight away, the paintwork and sculpting here is absolutely amazing. So much detail and care was put into this, but it looks a little incomplete, so let's attach its wings here. Now this is an imposing silhouette. This design particular of the creature is iconic. It differs a lot from a lot of designs out there where Cthulhu is muscular and this guy had one too many combo meals. Me too. It's very much inspired by all sorts of sea life, the skin all around invoking some sort of crab shell design, with all sorts of hazards throughout. These spikes can do
A lot of damage!
I'm not sure if this is just me, but I'm getting some Jeff Goldblum The Fly vibes here, especially when you rip off its skin to reveal some organs inside. Again, some great paintwork inside. But enough about how this thing looks. Let's get into how this thing poses, and this is where things go downhill. We have a pivot at the ankle, a ball joint at the upper leg. You can get a slight waist wiggle, but it's not going to hold any poses. And so it begins. We have a hinge at the shoulder, bend at the elbow, and ball joint on the wrist. There's also some posability in the miniature arms as well, at the shoulder, elbow, and wrist. These in particular sadly pop out a little too easily as well. It's almost better to leave them off and pretend they don't exist. We have a ball joint at the head which can't do much, and the wings are on a hinge. Be careful when handling them though. These points where they're pegged in aren't very secure at all. Reminds me a bit of my Shadow the Hedgehog review, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's because the figure was so bad I never finished the video. Hopefully Ghidorah handles its weighing posability with more grace. Anyways, finally we have 3 ball joints making up a decently posable tail. This figure isn't the most posable thing out there, but it doesn't have to be. Most of the time you'd be posing this thing in some imposing stance anyways. Which brings me to a big gripe of mine. Posing this thing was a nightmare. You can't move anything without these wings falling apart. The moment you try to fix them, the arm falls off, then another wing, and another arm, and the cycle continues. It's almost best to leave this thing in the nude. This is a much more enjoyable experience. So if the standard pieces aren't attaching properly, how are these included accessories gonna be? Well, it comes with swappable hands, which should attach at this ball joint here, but instead of the hand coming off, the ball joint rips in half. So none of these extra hand pieces are usable, which is a shame because this anchor accessory would look great with this figure. The tentacle is supposed to attach to replace the hand as well. But let's swap the head. Rip this sucker off and put this one on, and you have a very unique look for the monster. Has a little articulation with this little posable beak thing here, and let me just tell you, getting the other head back on was a complete nightmare. A warning to anyone who wants to get this figure, the paintwork is absolutely incredible, but it can rub off easily. I put my Super 7 Jet Jaguar in its hand here for a pose, and when I took it off, some of Cthulhu's paint came with it. Oh man, I'm really torn on this figure. It's absolutely stunning. It's such a unique take on it. The paintwork is painstakingly detailed, and its sheer size gives it some great presence in a shelf display. But if you want to handle this thing and pose it, it might not be for you. How easily all of these parts pop off really hold it back from achieving perfection. And half of the included accessories can't even be used due to some poor quality control issues. I was going in expecting Godzilla to have a proper rival, but I've simply just been spoiled with the quality of Haya toys. I give this figure, I'm sorry to my brother's bank account, please forgive me, a 6 out of 10. It's a great addition to my collection, looks great in my display case. If anyone was interested at any point, I'll leave a link below to Gundamn It where you can secure your own today. And whether you like this figure or not, you can still use my code DMG there or at the Show Z store to support the channel. And now, for a quick Q&A. Meme Jesus on TikTok asks, what's your favorite rider, version of Godzilla, Sentai Team, and Ultraman? Alright, so this one's gonna be pretty on the nose, but my favorite rider is Shin 1+2, the one I cosplay as, and whose helmet I wear as my YouTube persona. My favorite Godzilla is Shin by a long shot. The design is so striking and horrific, the concept art showing what could have been as well is mind-blowing, and the announcement of a possible sequel in the work has me nervous, but excited. Sentai Team. Now, I really used to like Power Rangers as a child, and the height of my obsession was with Power Rangers SPD. I was obsessed with that dog character, Ranger Dude. Does that make me a furry?
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Last but not least in your question here, Ultraman. I'm gonna go ahead and say the original. My exposure to Ultraman has been limited, but what I've seen has been great. I've seen the original series, Shin Ultraman, and the recent Netflix movie. I'm gonna butcher this, but Sasha Stoika on YouTube asks, what's your least favorite Godzilla movie? So I have a double answer for you here. The Godzilla movie that's so bad that I simply can't even be bothered to rewatch because I would just simply rather watch any other Godzilla movie ever is Son of Godzilla. It's such a boring slog of a movie, but a close second is Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, sheerly out of disappointment. It was honestly a cool monster design with some great ideas here and there, but the film flat out is forgettable slop. Kyle Stark 8581
God damn it, Kyle.
on YouTube asks, what was your first Godzilla movie you ever saw? For me, it was Godzilla 98. Saw that crap in the theater, and well, I have to sadly say same. Yeah, if memory serves me correctly, that was my first exposure to Godzilla. But honestly, hot take here, it's still a better movie than 2014 Godzilla. What? A quick fun fact, when I was a itty bitty child, I stole a stuffed Godzilla from that movie from some random toy store in the mall. Let's see if I can find it. Yep, that's the one right there. And now I realize I've been a felon my whole life. Huh, Makes sense. Keen Eye Studios. Hey, what's up, dude? They asked, besides Jobby the Hong, who would you say inspired the type of content you make? So my style of mass persona was highly inspired by Hello Greedo, a Star Wars YouTuber. But others like Monster Island Buddies, Filthy Frank, and Papa Meat influenced my work as far as style goes. But we all know I'm a Jobby clone, let's be real. Thank you so much for your questions. If you want to be featured in a future video, leave some below. Join me next time here on Playcast, where we finally take a look at our golden boy King Ghidorah, followed by something I've tried to escape from. Wait. Is that a f***ing crack?